Yeah, we've been going up to
community
I've
and
got
sidewalks
kids in
and the lighting
DC.
and
So we've been going up there, within walking distance of the metro,
That's
great. The street, etc. It's saved $150.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Jonesboro Rotary Comedy Club.
Hello, David.
How are you? Good. I'm going to call on Jim Miller to do our invocation.
Open your eyes that we may see.
Open your ears that we may hear, touch our hearts that we may love, clear our minds that we may think, strengthen our hands that we may work.
Amen. Thank you. Appreciate it. Excited today for our member moment is Mr. Cameron Frick. Get up and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Cameron Frick. I am relatively new to the Rotary Club here. I joined just a couple of months ago, and so I'm not real familiar with the process, so I've got my cheat sheet. So, why and when did I join Rotary? I was, Larry approached my boss, Bill Wilson, over at Wilson and Reeves, and asked if I wanted to be interested in becoming a member and talking with him about it. I talked to Larry a few times, and him and David invited me over, and the rest is history. So glad that I'm here. I thank everybody for having me. As far as what I want to get out of Rotary, I'm not sure yet. This is all very new to me, but I'm looking forward to getting more involved and learning more about it. Where I was born, went to school, career. I'm from Chapel Hill, born and raised in Chapel Hill, right up the road. Went to high school in Durham, and I really like the Triangle area. My family's all from North Carolina, so I wound up leaving Chapel Hill to go to college at Vanderbilt in Tennessee, and stayed there. And love Nashville, a great town, and worked hard. And after Vanderbilt, I moved on to law school. I went a little further west, down to Southern Methodist University in Texas, and stayed in Dallas. Loved Dallas too. I was about to stay in Dallas, signed up to take the bar in Dallas, paid my money to take the bar down there, and I came back for a friend's wedding, and the last minute I said, I want to stay in North Carolina. So I had to wait 6 months before I could take the bar in North Carolina, but it was worth it. I'm glad I did. So wound up coming back, and my first job out of law school, was a prosecutor in Durham. So I was an ADA in Durham for about 3 years, which is great. No shortage of things to do in Durham. So I learned a lot, and it was just a great experience. The benefits probably weren't the best, and at some point I realized it was probably time to move on a little bit. Wound up doing insurance defense work for a few years, and kind of all over. I was kind of traveling all around, and enjoyed doing that, defending motor vehicle negligence lawsuits for Nationwide and State Farm, that kind of thing. And after that, switched sides and wound up doing plaintiff's work for about 5 years, and for a couple of different firms. And wound up, I was actually saw something that my boss Bill Wilson had posted, and it looked like a good opportunity, and submitted my resume to him. About 6 months later, he gave me a call. So he called. I thought I was a solicitor. I said, "Who is this?" I was a little terse with it, but Mr. Howard. But it's been a great experience down here in Sanford. I live in Cary right now with my wife and 2 kids. I got 2 boys. They're 79, and my wife's a nurse. She's a nurse at Duke, and it's this is the commute down is actually an easier commute down to Sanford than it was just on the other side of Raleigh with all the traffic. It's horrible up there, but I really like Sanford. It's good, fairly laid back. People are great. The court system's awesome. The clerks and everybody in the courthouse just couldn't be nicer, and it's very, very easy to work with, unlike some of the bigger counties like Wake, in my opinion. But as far as my hero, and as far as my hero goes, probably everybody says this. I would have to say my parents. My dad's an orthodontist. My mom's a psychiatrist, and I just grew up watching them work hard, and I never knew it until I had kids of my own what it meant to work all day, come home, and actually fix a meal, and have everybody sit down and as a family, and we did that every day growing up, and it's hard to do sometimes when you're so tired and easy to cut corners, but I try to live up to their example and just live other principles of honesty, hard work, and just being true to yourself and people all around you. So as far as let's see here, what members might not know about me. Oh, I was thinking about this back in college. I did a 2-year honors thesis relating to the acuity of the visual system. And part of the experiment that I did, there was the basis for my thesis was determining our ability to distinguish differences about a vertical axis versus a horizontal axis, and I discovered that, and I don't think anybody has ever known this before, but we were able to see perturbations or movements about a vertical axis by an order of magnitude better than around a horizontal axis. And that makes sense as far as all people are about a vertical axis, all animals are about a vertical axis, except like a radial symmetrical starfish or something like that. That's just the way, not something you can detect in ordinary life. But I thought it was pretty cool when I thought I'd programmed the machine wrong. When I was like, I can't see the horizontal axis. Then I kept bumping it up, making the perturbations bigger and bigger. I was like, oh, you just can't see it. So that was probably the highlight of my college career as far as.
You're gonna have to do a program.
It was a big Hewlett Packard. I forget it was a big machine that projected images on the screen. But that was fun and exciting, and I thought all through college, I went into college thinking I was going to go to med school. Realized immediately that I'm completely incapable of doing math. And so, fortunately, my honors thesis didn't technically require a lot of math, and I just thought I would get a PhD, but realized that math was required for that too. So, and literally at graduation weekend, my mom said, you should go to law school. And I said, well, I don't want to get a job and go into the real world, so I'm going to keep staying in school and go to law school. So that's what I did. It fit me a lot better as far as being able to read, write, and argue. And I've enjoyed it and enjoy what I do. Let's see, what else we have here. I guess a wow moment. I don't know, I was just thinking about this because I was sitting with Spencer, my 9-year-old, the other night, and I had my phone out, and I forget what we were talking about. I pulled up an image of Devil's Tower in Wyoming, and was telling Spencer that back in my climbing days that I'd climbed up to the top of the Devil's Tower. If anybody don't know what if you don't know what Devil's Tower is, it's probably the most unique geological structure I've ever seen. It's about 1,000 feet tall, and this thing that rises up out of the ground out of nowhere. So Spencer was pretty impressed with that, but I was telling him all about it. So, but that was pretty cool. And as far as I think that about covers the list here.
Tell them about your dad.
Oh, my dad. My dad has been a longtime Rotarian. He's been involved in Rotary for probably 25 years, I would say. He does an annual, and probably for about the past 5 or 6 years, he does an annual trip, and he does it to different places. I think he's gone to Honduras and a couple of times, and El Salvador, basically going in and doing dental work for just the people there for a week or so. And he has some really cool pictures. I'm I'm gonna try and get him to come down and do a little presentation and have him describe what he does down there. So he brings some of his office staff, and they sit there and just clean teeth for a week. But it's pretty interesting to talk about. You know, they're under armed guard in the hotel, and they're not allowed outside at night. And they got to drive 3 hours into the jungle on these roads that are not like the roads here, and it's the real deal down there. So it's good when he gets back home. So, but he loves it, and I know he has committed a lot to it and really gets a lot out of it. So I hope I can follow in his shoes and do the same. So anyway, thank you very much.
One on the, whatever he was talking about. One on climbing the devil's tower. Yeah, that would be good.
Horizontal and vertical axis.
Yeah.
This might be bad for business, but I didn't know what he was talking about either.
Disregard the horizontal and vertical, let's just do Devil's Tower.
We have openings in August. You're right. Thanks, Cameron. Appreciate that.
The M&Ms out in the car?
Huh?
Are the M&Ms out in the car?
No, I took them out. I didn't want them out.
Have a basic, double up on the cake, huh?
I think they have graduated to the table, so I'll bring them back down here.
Cameron, have a piece of cake.
That's right. By the way, we have the cake here today. Cake lady is,
You're gonna have to stand up again.
what did you make today?
Coconut.
Coconut cake.
Well, Mr. Ainsley over there requested coconut, so I thought I would.
I wasn't here in June, so.
Appreciate it. One thing I do want to announce to everybody, a couple of weeks we passed around a bucket to send to the district to send some money up to White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. Got an email from Mayor Lasker saying that our district sent them a check for $22,000 to help the. So just thank you guys for your contribution. I thought when we passed the bucket around that we made a profit, but John said we didn't. So because we earmarked a certain amount of money to go up there, and we got more than that. But John corrected me quickly and said no, we said it also. But anyway, thank you for that, and that right there is one reason. Just proud to be a Rotarian. The money they raised this district, that's quite a bit of money over there.
I think he was looking for 5,000.
Right, that's right.
The original number was, we had to raise 5.
And they said, sure did, so, anyway. Let's see, we still got the baseball game coming up on the 7th of August. Today's probably the last day of sign-up for that, since we got to get the ticket order in this week. Tickets are $12, $5 of that goes to the Eastern North Carolina, is it Eastern North Carolina Food Bank?
Yeah.
So that will
Second
be,
harvest.
yeah, Second Harvest Bank up there in Greensboro. So that is August 7th, Sunday afternoon game at 4 o'clock. International President John Jones will throw out the first pitch. We'll see what kind of arm he has. And so sign up to go. It'll be a fun, hot afternoon. So let's see. Remember on the 18th we have the district governor coming here. And don't forget that I'd like to have a little food drive. Bring in your canned goods for that. Let's see. Van, can I bother you today? Give me some sort of fun stuff.
Well,
Whatever you decide.
just quickly looking around, I don't see any gas, so don't need to recognize any of those except our speaker, Mr. Charlie Parker. Give him a big round of applause. do you want to make an announcement about some upcoming things at the temple?
Man, I wasn't prepared.
That's okay. Well,
I do want to say, before I make any announcements, any of you that came to see Les Mis this weekend, Greta and her staff and those kids, what they did this weekend was absolutely magical. I was blown away, and we knew this was an advanced group of kids that we were gonna do the production with, but I don't think any of us had any idea how good it was gonna be. So the folks that were there, rave reviews. Those of y'all that missed it, you really missed something special. It was great. The biggest announcement right now that I've got is about Sounds on Steel. September 10th is the date for that. We've got 10 bands coming into the downtown. Beer, food, artisan vendors throughout up and down Carthage Street. It'll be a lot of fun. That's September 10th. We're going to kick it off at noon. It runs to about 9:30 in the evening, and at 9:30, the bars down on Steel Street will have bands that come in to kind of keep the thing going. We're hoping for a really great day. Cammie's been kind enough to assist in this whole process, and a lot of energy's gone into it. We really looking forward, hope that this is something that over the course of the next 4 or 5 years evolves into 10 or 15,000 people converging on Sanford for the weekend. This is the second year. We're still in the formative stages, but this should be a great show September 10th. So we hope to see you guys out there. As You Like It, which is our Shakespeare production, August 4th through the 7th will be in Depot Park. Bring your families out there. It's free admission. Donations are appreciated. But rehearsals are underway for that, and then following that, 2 weeks after that, we have the last of our kids shows for the year. We'll be doing Seussical again. Righteous Brothers, we have a Righteous Brothers tribute act coming in July 29th and 30th, which is next weekend. 2 shows. Ticket sales have been really good for that. There's still good seats available, but get your tickets. These guys are really good. We're lucky to get them, and it was somebody knew somebody that knew somebody, and we're bringing these guys up. They're called Soul and Inspiration, and they tour all over the country doing this Righteous Brothers gig, and it's really cool. Pauly Shore, who people either love or hate, will be at the Temple October 26th. We just got that laid on, and 2 days ago, we booked James Gregory to come back. James Gregory will be here March 11th. He's going to do 2 shows in one night, so that'll be a lot of fun. The main stage season opens September 15th with Anything Goes. That's all I got. Thank you.
Chris, thank you so much. Appreciate that. And James Gregory, he's billed as like the world's best comedian, or
World's funniest person, world's funniest man. I don't know.
And he is really great. He very doesn't do a lot of swearing or anything like that. It's all real clean comedy. It's really down to earth. You can probably take your kids there, and
Van and Sam helped bring him here the first time. They are the ones that have reached out to us. They actually been banging the drum. They've been actively trying to get back here. They had a good time. It was a good crowd. We're counting on Van and Sam to help us out again with that. But we'll get up to that. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
Thank you, Chris. Larry, you got me now.
Yes.
I'm going to sit down on this one.
We have supported as a club the Homes of Hope. We were going to do a district grant, and we weren't able to get that done. But what we did do is, for our portion, the club portion, which was going to be $300, we sent in our $300, and they send us back evidence of what it is we're doing with our $300. So here's a coffee cup with Anita's picture on it. And when we weren't able to get a district grant, then what Yvonne decided to do was sponsor one of the kids herself, along with Robert, I think. And so we're going to pass. Did you bring the cup too?
No, I didn't bring the cup, but I brought the.
Okay, well, she has a cup as well, and I'll pass the cup and the information about the little girl that we're taking care of for this next year at the orphanage. And what we'll probably wind up doing is try to help. No, you don't have to put any money in it, just pass the cup.
You've never turned it down before.
Okay, we just want to show the
And condition.
I shouldn't have stopped him. What was I thinking?
I'll get them all back out.
This may ultimately lead to a global grant for Homes of Hope. We hope that that's exactly what it does. And the other thing I wanted to mention is for all the mentors over at Edwards, we have a new principal. Natalie Putnam is going to be our principal. She comes from
Stanley.
Stanley
Middle.
Yeah, Middle. Really sharp, right up in the paper. We look forward to meeting her. And David knows a little bit more about Christina. You want to mention what?
Yeah, I talked to Christine this morning. Larry told me yesterday that she was leaving, and so I called her this morning to find out why she didn't ask us or tell us first. But she's going to work and start a charter school in Holly Springs. It's kind of a ground floor opportunity. They got to build it. She said that right now she's going to be doing curriculums and recruiting students and faculty and things of that nature. So, but she said that she's still going to be around here, and it's just a new opportunity for her, and she's excited about it. So I told her that that we were going to miss her, and that any Thursday that she want to come have lunch with us, it's always open for her to come. So.
And she's going to Holly Springs, did you say?
Holly Springs.
Going into Rotary?
Huh?
Isn't she booked to do a Rotary?
She is, yeah. I think she said September she's got a meeting with the Rotary Club in Holly Springs. So.
It would be neat if we made a road trip with as many guys as could go.
Told her that if she really wanted to start her tenure off right up there, then she needed us to come with her. Not quite sure if that would help her or
Do we have any other announcements coming for the club at this time?
We have
There we
$81 in the bucket. We're passing it. This is the Jim Miller matching grant program for Shelter Box.
We also have a thank you note here from Kendra and the United Way for the donation we made to Volunteer League. And I was just informed, is it official, Kendra, that you are now the
Yep, it's official.
director of the United Way? Congratulations. We are proud to have you in our club.
Thank you.
We know you're doing a great job. Just kind of expand on what you've been doing. So.
You want to mention too about Tim too?
Yeah, you might as well give them bad news with the good.
Yeah.
Tim is submitted his resignation from the club because he's going to grad school and is going to be tied up with that and work, and we haven't proved it yet, but we're still trying to keep him in. So, but anyway, tell him that we hate it, but I understand the situation and.
Yeah, it's something that he really feels called to, so he'll be a student in the graduate school at UNC Wilmington this fall in the Master Social Work program with the goal of becoming a licensed clinical social worker and pastoral counselor, so dual certification.
Good luck to him on that. I think that covers it. You ready? Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Doug Morris.
Yeah, really. It's my pleasure to introduce Charlie Parks. Charlie is the president of one of the best organizations that I'm affiliated with, Highway to Healing. And I've been doing it a couple of years. Actually, Kendra brought it up to me through Volunteer League right after I retired. I get more enjoyment out of that organization. So my good friend Larry said he spoke to the Sanford Rotary, so why don't we get him? And I said, yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't we get him to come here and talk to us? Charlie is from Texas, born and raised. He went to high school there. He worked as a farmhand for years there. He went in the Marine Corps, and I guess did a 4-year stint as a flight crew chief of transports. He graduated from college at Western Washington State University, Fairhaven College in '76. He spent a whole career in air traffic control, and he did a lot of management roles. He was a field controller all the way up to training specialist for new systems, and did just a huge amount in the FAA. He moved to Lee County in 2005. He started working with Highway to Healing then. He was a county commissioner here for 4 years, from 2010 to 14, and I'll let him tell you more. Charlie.
Thank you, Jack. I can relate to Cameron. When I retired from the FAA in Washington, D.C., I didn't want to go back to hot, dusty, dry Texas either. So, so I found the next best thing was people of like values, and right here in North Carolina, we fell in love with the people. And that's one of the reasons we moved down here. How many of you don't know about Highway to Healing? Okay, so looks like a good majority. So anyway, thank you for letting me come and speak to you about Highway to Healing. Of all organizations that I've participated in over the years, Highway to Healing has been the most rewarding. When I first arrived in Sanford, I was living in a travel trailer overseeing the building of my retirement home. A friend had called me up and said, "You're not doing anything, why don't you come and go to work?" I said, "Okay, what are you talking about?" And he said, "Well, I drive for Highway to Healing, and you need to come and help us out." I said, "Okay, well, since I'm new to the area, let me drive with you, ride with you one time and see what it's all about." And after the first trip, I was hooked. It was the most rewarding thing, and I got to know more about Lee County than anywhere else, because a lot of them were, lifetime residents. And they can tell me almost anything about the county and all of you families and the whole work. But it was an amazing time. So anyway, Highway to Healing started as Road to Recovery, an American Cancer Society transportation program, in 1985. And essentially it was started by a couple named Howard and his wife Catherine McDonald. Some of you may remember them, but Howard had developed a form of lung cancer, and he had successful treatment. The thing about his treatment is he noticed the other people that were there and saw the struggles that families had of getting people to treatment. Either they had no family, they had no transportation, things of this sort. So essentially they were just sort of left out there on their own to try to make it to get cancer treatments. So he and his wife, Catherine, started Highway to Healing. And essentially the first part of Highway to Healing was not only taking people to treatments, they actually supplied hospital beds, oxygen, and counseling services. So he had all kinds of things going on. In 1994, Mr. McDonald passed away. But all the volunteers that had worked with him, the service organizations that had worked to help fund it, essentially saw the importance of having this type service. And so they continued it on. In 1996, they changed the name to Highway to Healing, and essentially it became a more structured organization with a board of directors. And some of the services were discontinued because hospitals started supplying the equipment that people needed, but again, transportation was the main concern and problem. And so that's what it cut it. The mission of Highway to Healing has remained the same. It's a service to give comfort and transportation to cancer patients of Lee County at their lowest health point. It started, again, with a few dedicated volunteers, and today we've had as many as 120 drivers. Our missions remain the same, to provide a few quality transportation service for Lee County cancer patients. And our dedicated volunteers essentially link patients to their needed therapy and some relief to their families. We have no paid staff. Everybody is volunteer. There's no paid staff. So essentially donations that we receive go to providing gas to the drivers, but otherwise the car, their insurance, their time is all on their own. Some drivers even provide their own gas, but the other funds are used for literature, one appreciation dinner a year for the drivers. So about 99% of the funds are used to transport our clients to their appointments, both treatments and doctor visits. And our funds come from individuals such as former drivers and clients, companies, service organizations. We are also we have become a United Way partner with Kendra and her group. Today, most of our drivers are between 60 and 80. I had a call yesterday from a driver that's been driving almost since it began. And he says, you know, my reflexes are just getting such that I can't do it anymore.
Is that my dad?
No, I don't think so.
Sam Silverman?
He's a driver. He hasn't called me yet. But
You said 80, my dad's 87.
So no, he hasn't. He's still driving, I think. So anyway, I'm scheduling for the month of July. We have 12 schedulers, and we take turns, 1 month a year to do scheduling. And this last week, I've had 3 drivers that have had to call and take their names off the list because either age, a partner that needs some care, transporting their partner to get treatments themselves or therapy type things. So essentially, that's where we are. We're probably down now, right at the present time, of active drivers down to 80 from the 120 we originally had. Nearly all of the drivers, or everybody that I've talked to, and I get to talk to everybody at least once a month, or 1 month out of the year, but they consider Highway to Healing a family. And I tell you, it's one of the greatest group of people I've ever worked with. Besides the county. I have to say that for John and his group, because we had a good time with them. John had to put up with me for 4 years. So. But one of my biggest joys is to listen to the clients praise the service that we have, because they know that without it, they can't get where they need to go. And even if they have their own transportation, they can't drive after some of the treatments. And so they'd be dangerous on the road. So anyway, if you know someone that'd like to participate, we have some driver sign-up forms back there. In fact, Brother Larry already filled out one for me. So yeah, when we usually our drivers go 1 trip a month. Occasionally, if we get a lot of clients, we may have 2 trips a month. During July, August, it may be a little bit more because everybody is, and this is the fascinating part about our drivers and our volunteers, is everybody is involved in more than one activity. A lot of them are church mission trips. A lot of them are volunteer for other things, other groups that like Baptist men, Methodist men that go out and help with disaster type things. So every now and then, we're down on drivers because they are involved. They love the people of Lee County, and they try to do everything they can to help those people that are in Lee County. If Highway to Healing is something that interests you, I'd be glad to chat with you after the meeting. There are pamphlets back on the back table. Like I say, there are driver sign-up sheets. There's also an information sheet that tells you more about Highway to Healing, the specifics. And are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, you mentioned that somebody introduced Highway to Healing to you. Who was that person?
His name was Bob Smith. Bob and I had been church members together, and we've known each other probably for around 20 years. And he didn't want to see me get lazy out there, I guess.
Yeah, just a point, a lot of people say, well, I don't know when I'll be able to do it. I got a lot of stuff going on. But Larry was a good, he said, I'm pretty busy except for Friday. And if you've got any time at all, you could just let us know that, because we can work around that. The schedules can work around that and just use you one day a month, but it'd be Thursdays or whatever. So,
Do you book a whole day?
No.
No, well,
It's a good point.
you would sort of leave it flexible, and I'll tell you why. Up at Chapel Hill and Duke, sometimes they get behind. Yeah, if they go for radiation, generally it's 15 to 30 minutes, and you're right back on the way home. If they had a doctor's appointment in there, it could be a little longer, hour and a half, type things like that. Most of the hospitals work pretty close with us because they realize that their clients can't, are there with volunteer drivers. And so they try to work with us not to change the schedule too often, but once in a while, like a chemo machine goes down, all of a sudden they're backed up. Usually if we send them up for chemo, we ask somebody to take them, and then we schedule another driver to go pick them up. So you're not sitting there all day. So it varies with, what their treatment is, whether it's radiation, chemotherapy, a doctor's appointment, CAT scan, those kinds of things.
At Duke and UNC, it's sometimes hard to find a parking place.
Duke is not, because it's back around side of the hospital and they have their own parking area. UNC depends. UNC has, for radiation, they give a parking pass to the client.
So we've got to have specials.
But if they go up for chemo or a doctor's appointment, then you go to the main thing,
Yeah.
and the hospital volunteer services give you a parking pass. So that's taken care of. We're trying to work this out with Duke, and then being president, all of a sudden we meet new things that come up. Like I had a lady call me yesterday, and she said, well, the fastest and most secure way to go to Duke is up 541 bypass. Well, that's a toll road. We haven't addressed that, so I've got to get back together with the board and say, do we handle that also? So those are some of the issues that come up.
How many trips a month do y'all have to shoot, or is there?
Usually the grand average is usually one. Oh, you mean as far as a whole?
As a whole,
As a client?
and as far as an individual driver?
Okay, individual drivers, up until just recently, we've generally averaged one a month. Sometimes maybe not for 2 months, but sometimes twice a month. Rarely do we ever go over twice a month. And as far as the number of people that we had a really, really heavy May, June time frame where we had something like 10 clients.
Really?
And they were going every day. So that's, and so drivers are our biggest concern is, like I say, most of our people are getting up in years a little bit. And they also are active. They have other things that they're doing. So we try to respect that. In fact, we write on their driver sheet that we made out, what days to call, what days not to call if they're working, things like that. And a lot of businessmen that are part of our team generally will say, okay, well, call me and let me see what I've got on my schedule. And we respect that schedule. So, okay, any other questions? Well, thank you for letting me come. And like I say, we always accept all the donations that we can, but mainly we need drivers. Thank you.
Charlie, thank you so much for coming. And we will give a donation, probably a plus, in your honor and the Highway Eagles. We have no raffle today because our banker's not here. Does anybody have anything else for the good of Rotary today? If not, I will get Doug to lead us in the 4-way test.
Okay. Before we test, the things we think, say or do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill, better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Your sign this way.